What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're going to feature a couple of Morbius team-ups in PvP at level 9. But before we begin, I want to thank Matt at Matt Sketches for the thumbnail and graphic. Now for this video I'm not going to do an entire breakdown, but I do want to let you know what I'm using on my agent. First we have the Tactician and Powered Armor, and we're using the Quick and Powered ISO 8. Then we're pretty much going with a disoriented and mind control type of theme. That does limit our item choices, so that's why the setup is going to be the same for both teams. Still, I can tell you that the team up of Morbius and Loki is a very fun team to use. Also, on Morbius you can use whatever E-ISO you want, but on Loki I like to use the one that grants him health back whenever he uses a magic ability. And then if yours is a high enough level, you can also use the one that grants him Savant. So that's the Resonant and the Protective and Powered ISO 8. Then for my agent's equipment I'm using the Synthetic Cube, and that's in part because of the Blackest Void. Next I'm using the Amplified Subsonic Sound Gun, and that also places Disoriented on the entire enemy team. Next we have the Neuro Purge, and I'll explain that one once we get into the match. Then finally we're going to use Loki's Scepter. This is going to place mind control on the enemy, so hopefully that kicks in, but at the very least it will help out Morbius's Fly-By-Night. Now for this first match we have our characters converted over for a high health and defense build. Then another thing I want to point out is Loki is going to go first. So once again, those are his E-ISO, and then I want to show you that we have the Bursting A-ISO on his level 1. Then for this one I threw on the Aiming A-ISO on his level 6, but it's really not that crucial in this team up. However, I was excited to have Thorns on his Hall of Mirrors because I felt like that's going to be the first ability you use. The Thorned Augmented ISO 8 can go on a magic ability, and it's going to make enemy melee attackers take bleeding and hemorrhaging damage. We got lucky and the enemy doesn't have Mystic Shroud, so we're going to start with that level 9. Oh, and since this enemy team does have Iron Fist, it allows me to explain why we have the Neuro Purge. I'm using it because it's a quick action item that applies off balance. So it's great because it will stop counterattacks, but truthfully my main reason that I have it is because of Iron Fist and Combo Breaker. So when you see me using that item lately, it's almost 100% because of Iron Fist. Now on Morbius's turn, we're going to first use his Mesmerize on the enemy agent. And let me tell you, if Possessed wasn't broken, this move would be so much better. As it stands, it will at least make the enemy usually skip their turn. So the enemy agent is going to skip their turn, and yes, Iron Fist got his Combo Breaker in, but now that's all going to be over thanks to the Neuro Purge. Then next I'm going to use the Amplified Subsonic Sound Gun. This will disorient the entire enemy team, and it gives our team seismic feedback. Then next up is Star-Lord, who, I seriously need to own that movie. So he goes with a lit up, but Loki dodges. Then you'll also see our feedback kick in. Then on our Loki's turn, I'm really not sure what to go with, but ultimately I guess I'm going to use a Fog of Chaos on the enemy agent. I felt like I had to weaken him slightly because I really didn't want him getting a turn. But this may not have been the best route to go. Still, we do some damage and we gain back HP. Next up is finally going to be Morbius's turn, and so looking at the enemy agent, he does have Disoriented and Mind Control. Our Fly-By-Night has Exploits Delirium, so it deals extra damage against targets with Mind Control, Disoriented, and Possessed. And there you see a little bit of what it's capable of. Plus keep in mind that, like I said, our attack bonuses aren't at their highest. Next match, we're going to change things around and we'll see what Morbius really can do. But this one's not quite over. We do have a very annoying Iron Fist to deal with. At least on this turn we do get to use the Light Fantastic as a quick action, and this is the second time we can use Loki's Scepter. Now if only Mind Control would kick in. But on Star-Lord's turn he does end up using Cold Snap. This is going to heal us because of Mirror Reality, and it causes avalanche feedback. Next up on Loki's turn, I'm going to use his level 1, and we'll throw that dagger at Iron Fist. Alright, so we do around 11,000 damage, but unfortunately for us, Star-Lord procs 12% of a plan. But hey, we do finally get to see Thorns kick in, and there goes that hemorrhaging and avalanche feedback. But Iron Fist just ruins everything by healing almost back to full health. Alright, well on Morbius's turn, we're going to use an experimentation just to see what we get. So now we have Agile and Focused. Not exactly what we were looking for, but we could use it again if we wanted to. Instead, I think I'm just going to use Fly By Night on the enemy Star-Lord. So here goes nothing. The first hit does 24k and the second a little over 11,000. That's not bad at all. I'm telling you, that level 1 has some real potential. All you need to do is guarantee that it crits. And you can do that through a number of ways, including by having bleeding on the opponent. Then after using Loki's Scepter on Star-Lord, he's below 15,000 health. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait for Morbius to take him out because Hall of Mirrors is off of cooldown, and that's what we're going to use with Loki. So after the evil Iron Fist uses the ability of the same name on Loki, he takes Avalanche Feedback and luckily misses. Now just for fun, we go ahead and use Mesmerize, which by the way we do have Brain Freeze on. I definitely wanted to mention that the Brain Freeze Augmented ISO weight goes on a psychic attack, which Mesmerize counts as, and it causes it to apply Migraine and Chilled. So that Chilled would probably end up finishing Star-Lord, but instead, we're going to end up using the Atom Smasher first. Then with our second attack, I'll use the Amplified Subsonic Sound Gun. This match seems like it's finally going to come to an end, because after we use this, Loki also gets to attack and will use his level 1 Throwing Dagger, and then that should allow these dots to finish off Iron Fist. So let's go ahead and hit him with that final dagger, and then watch the corruption knock him out. Now moving on to our second match, we have switched entirely over to attack. So with all our blasters in place, you'll first see a big change in our health, and then you're going to see a big change in Morbius's attack. In this one, our agent's going to start with the Neuro Purge, and that will certainly cut down on Falcon's counter. Next, we're going to use the Amplified Subsonic Sound Gun, that way we can disorient the enemy team. Then speaking of Falcon, it looks like he's going to use Swoop on Moonstone. That attack misses, and now Morbius can use his Mesmerize on the enemy beast. What's funny about this matchup is my team can really shut down the enemy beast. First, he's going to have to skip his turn, and then with Moonstone we can use her level 1 right after we first use Gravity Syndrome. By the way, we do have the Quick and Powered ISO 8 on her, so that move is a quick action. So now we've exhausted the entire enemy team, including their agent, so quite possibly that Shepherd Staff may be the only thing he gets to use. Now what I was talking about with our level 1 is the fact that it has Immobilized. This makes the enemy target unable to use melee abilities. That of course can really hurt someone like Beast. Then on top of that, we did add bleeding because of the Bloody Augmented ISO 8. So that will cause Morbius to get a guaranteed crit against someone like Beast, or anyone else in the future who gets hit with Moonstone's level 1. Next, on my agent's turn, because we get 2 attacks, I'm going to spread around the mind control with Loki's Scepter. Or at least that's what I should have tried to do. Instead, I just try to put some more damage on the enemy Pestilence Beast. Okay, and it looks like that's not going to work out so good, but still, hopefully Morbius will make us feel better about this situation. Also, once again, Moonstone does dodge a swoop, and then with Morbius, we can use his level 1 Fly By Night. Remember, this has Exploits Delirium, Deadly Crits, and with Scent of Blood, we get a guaranteed crit against someone with bleeding. Check out that damage from a level 9 Morbius. That's pretty sick, I know. Well, now on Moonstone's turn, I'm going to use her level 2, and that way she'll become phased. Also, by the way, I did put the Ionizing AISO on it, so it would apply radiation exposure as well. However, the enemy agent dodged, and now uses the Hotshot. He's at least going to take some Avalanche Feedback, and a Fly By Night. Even worse though, he gets another attack, and with that he's going to use the Blackest Void. But actually it's not going to work out that bad for our team because our agent's up next, and with Pestilence Beast gone we can use the Light Fantastic. That's going to be as a quick action, so we can also use the Improbability Field. Also, I believe with Falcon up next he's going to have to skip his turn because of Hold the Line. So we'll get back-to-back attacks, first with Morbius and then with Moonstone. On Morbius's turn, I'm going to use his level 2 I Hunger, just to kind of mix things up. Also, I do like to use all abilities when I'm showing a new character in PvP. Then with Moonstone, since the enemy rudely removed her phased, I'll just go ahead and use her level 2 once again. Hopefully this time it hits and we place Radiation Exposure. Alright, so here goes our Blinding Attraction. This time it is going to hit, and so the enemy agent takes quite a few dots, and they have to pass their turn. Well, you know what, I'm not going to complain about that, so on our turn we'll just use the Neuro Purge, And then I guess we'll use the Atom Smasher first. That is, right after we use Momentary Advantage. Then this attack should easily take out the agent, and it's going to hurt Falcon. I would like to save him for Morbius though, if possible. Alright, and we do some pretty big damage, and then next we're going to use Loki's Scepter. I at least want to partially set up Fly By Night, but we do way more damage than I expected. Still, Falcon barely hangs on. After his ground control fails to damage us, I'm going to finish this fight with a Fly By Night. And this attack is going to do nearly 100,000 damage, so that's a great finisher. And so that's how this video is going to end. I really hope you enjoyed our first look at Morbius in PvP, and just remember there's going to be plenty more to come. Lastly, I want to thank you all for watching and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.